let's take a look at the definition of happiness. I just thought I would just toss that out. It's sort of a sense of well-being, ability to find joy, or just simply being content. So happiness is kind of a general description of feeling good and positive. I thought I would share, if you don't mind, Christine, I always like to do a little music reference, a couple of song lyrics just for the fun of it. We find that even musicians like to talk about money. It makes a great subject in music. They'll talk about it in a positive way. Sometimes they'll talk about it in a negative way. Everybody can relate to some time in their life when they were either really flush and feeling good about money, or maybe they were a little stressed due to some money issues. A couple of songs I found interesting. 1997, rapper Notorious B.I.G., and I hope I'm saying that correctly, had a song that contained the chorus, "It's like the more money we come across, the more problems we see." And then later on, Kanye West, he had a line that said, "Having money's not everything, not having it is." And then one of my favorite groups is the Beatles, so I have to throw a quote from them back in the 60s. They once said, "I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love." Okay, it's debatable. So with that, it seems that too much money or not enough money can create issues, and that's just something to keep in mind. Thought I'd throw out a little bit of a musical reference. Over time, we've done some studies and we've read some studies that talks about investing in the relationship to happiness, and most people find a way to make money generate happiness. There are examples where somebody may have misused the money and maybe didn't have good, proper guidance. But, as an investor or as a saver or just being charitable, these are ways that you can create happiness for yourself or for others, accumulating wealth, trying to have positive thoughts, keep an eye on your investments.
I think it's interesting. We keep saying money can buy you happiness, but for most of my life, I was always told money can't buy you happiness. And in some ways, I do think that's very true. It's the camaraderie, the friendship, the love. Those are things that truly make you happy. But money does help get you there. So I think it would be interesting if, someone doesn't believe that money can generate your happiness. You should ask that person to give it all away and then see how happy they really are. Think of, for example, the old story of the lottery winner. And, they run into all this money. It's a sudden thing. And then a few years later, they end up broke and possibly in debt. And, some of that could be from poor financial planning. Some of that could be from unrealistic expectations. But having a large influx of money could lead to a disaster. And some people would love to have a large influx of money. I have always been along the lines of I would never want to have that much money, like where I won the lottery. I feel like, it would just cause way too many problems than it would be worth. I'd like to have a good amount of money, but just not a ton. But not everybody feels that way. And, would that large sum of money bring you happiness? Would it generate more for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I would like to say I'd like a chance to experience winning the lottery and see if maybe I can...
You'll take your odds.
Yeah, and maybe I can figure out a way to be happy with the money. I don't know. I would certainly give it my best try. Anytime you get a sudden influx of money, it always changes things dramatically, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But, kind of what we're thinking is, what might be your goal for the future? Based on your current income or anticipated income, what are your goals for now, next day, next week, next year? And so, you then kind of ask yourself, what's the definition of say, financial happiness? We know what it is to be happy, to be content, but financial happiness can be a variety of things. It might be that you want to accumulate some money and leave it to the next generation. It might be that you want to be charitable while you're alive, see your money in action. It might just be that you want to just do things for yourself. And every so often I've spoken to a client who says, my kids are great, I'm spending all this money myself. And so different ways to kind of look at estate planning. But again, a professional can help you on that side. But, it's a personal choice what money's going to do for you.
Yeah, I think over the past few years, we've really seen an influx of clients wanting to give more now versus later on in life when they pass away. whether it's through qualified charitable distributions from their IRA accounts to charities, or whether it's gifting money to their kids or anyone for that matter now versus when they pass. And I think it's because they would like to see their kids and their family or loved ones, whatever the case may be, enjoy some of that money now and make sure, they have more happiness in their life, like not just when they pass away, but maybe it's something they can enjoy with them now. It helps them get a better house. Maybe they all travel together, whatever the case may be. So we definitely see more folks gifting money before they pass away than I have ever seen in my 20 plus years working in the industry. And if you still have some time to give a 24 gift, the gifting amount is $18,000 per person for 24, and it jumps up to $19,000 per person for 25. So if it is something that sounds interesting, you do have a little bit of time to do that this year still.
And that's per person, right? If
yes.
You got a husband and a wife, they could actually do 36. We've seen a lot of those.
Yes, absolutely.
And it can be to as many different people
in that family. So if, there's a husband and a wife and you're giving to, your child with a spouse, then you could technically give the $36,000 twice to each of them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean towards wanting to see some of the money that I had earned and I want to pass on to the next generation be used while I'm still around. I think that would be exciting. I get, it's you want there to be some money for your kids when you pass, but a little bit of it going to them now. I would be a fan of that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be an outright gift like $18,000. That could be a lot to some folks. It could just be taking them on a trip somewhere and everybody enjoying that experience together.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I like the way you're thinking that. So when we talk about an investment plan, that kind of fits into your goal of what you want to do to, save your money and move your money forward. There's always a comfort level in sticking to that plan, making your plan, sticking to it so you don't get off course. Stick with your spending plan, your retirement budget of how you want to get there. All of these goals, if you stick with them, are going to help you kind of lead towards financial success. So when we talk about financial success, you got to kind of get some guidance, have somebody help you, hold your hand, walk you through it. There is a need for a financial professional, somebody who's trained in this area to kind of listen to your goals and your thoughts and what your plans are, and then kind of direct you what you might have to tweak on that plan to actually hit the goals that you're talking about. So some of the things that a financial professional could do for you would be to help you set realistic goals. You got to you can set a goal, but if it's not realistic, it's really going to create a problem somewhere down the road. It's managing expectations. What can you really achieve based on what you're talking about? Finding the right investment allocation, very important, because you can say, well, I'm going to save this amount of money and it's going to grow like this and then I'm going to achieve this number. But if the investments aren't in correlation with what your goal is, you could run into a problem. Financial professional can help you there. And then performance monitoring. You got to, as you go along, you can't just set a plan and then walk away from it for 20 years and think you'll be where you want to be. You've got to monitor it year by year at least. And of course, we encourage people to come in at least once a year and talk about their plans. At Nelson Financial Planning, we strive to address all of these important financial issues. We have no account minimum, so we're here to help anybody who wants to get started with a plan get on road for that. All of our advisors are certified financial fiduciaries, which means everything we do is in your best interest. We are obligated by that designation. And then the last thing we take pride in is that we can help you set up a cost-efficient plan. An investment plan to help you achieve your results does not have to be expensive. You do not have to pay exorbitant fees. It's just really not necessary. So let's talk a little bit about when money comes in a little extra and we say, how does a change in income or how would an inheritance affect somebody's money goals? So the first thing is we call it this baseline. Kind of what are you normally used to spending every month or every year? Does that baseline change as more money comes in, or do you kind of sustain the same baseline of spending but have extra money going towards savings? The other thing we're going to do is maybe compare your net worth to somebody else. You might decide what feels better, what feels good to you, spending or saving. And of course, sticking to that plan can give you a relief